Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope all of you enjoyed your spring break, spending some precious time with family. We're back again for some more fun in the studio. If you wonder why I'm wearing this ridiculous hat, it's so much fun. It's my bug hat, okay? If you want to make one of these along with me, please feel free to view our pre-primary class for this week of April the 13th. And all the instructions are there in that video. So I'm going to take this off now because we're going to be working with my primary group, which is ages 3 to 5. And again, if you're younger, you can do these projects with your parents. If you're older and you want to follow along, you are more than welcome to do so as well. But again, this is primary, ages 3 to 5. April 13th is the week that we're on, and we're making a butterfly out of a toilet tube. Okay? If you don't have toilet paper tubes, which probably you do, but if you don't, you can also take a paper towel tube and cut it into thirds, I believe, to 3 pieces, and then you'll come down to about this size and you can make your butterfly with us. Okay, so things you will be needing for this particular project. Everybody should have received an email with a stencil. This is my butterfly wings. Okay, you'll have a stencil. You're going to need some watercolor paper to trace, to make that stencil, and then you're going to need a toilet paper tube. You're going to need just any colored piece of construction paper you want. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need glue. You're going to need any colors of paint that you want. You're going to need a water cup. You're going to need paper towel to clean your brushes. And you're going to need a couple of brushes. Also, Neri mentioned a pencil. Mine is right here. I'm going to grab it. Wait, okay, pencil. So you're going to need those. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start the project. The first thing that I want to do, believe it or not, is not cutting out the wings yet. The first thing I want to do is I want to paint my toilet paper tube because that'll give that an opportunity to dry while we're working on our other stuff. So I'm going to do mine in blue. So I have some blue right here. Okay. And I'm just going to put, wants to come out, a little bit of blue on my paper plate. Also, I'm going to grab my big paintbrush to do this one, okay? So I'm just going to hold onto my paper tube and just paint all around my toilet paper tube. Now, I'm using acrylic paint. You can use some washable paint if you want. I just like the way that this covers, especially on cardboard and canvas and things like that. Acrylic paint tends to cover much better. So I'm going to just paint all around my tube. Now, I'm just using enough paint to cover my tube. I don't want to make it so thick with paint that it takes so long to dry because we won't have fun with that, okay? So just enough paint to cover my tube, okay? Now that's the only time that I'm going to use I'm going to use a big brush one more time. So I'm going to dry it off. So I'm going to wash my brush, get all that paint off, and dry it on my paper towel. So then you have a nice clean brush. So I will use that in a minute another time. Also neglected to mention, I'm wearing, you can see, an apron, and also my table is covered because my acrylic paint, again, does not come off your clothes. It will come off your hands, though, so if you get a little bit on your hands, you're okay. Okay, so I'm going to cut out my stencil next. Next thing I'm going to do is cut out my stencil. So I'm going to cut out all around the edges of my butterfly wings. And then what we're going to do, and when we finish cutting this all out, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to place it on top of the watercolor paper and trace it with a pencil, and then we're going to cut out the wings one more time on the watercolor paper. Now, so for my young friends, you may require for moms and dads to give you some assistance, or your older siblings for this. Okay. So I've got my wings all cut out from my printer paper. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down on my watercolor paper, and I'm going to trace it with my pencil. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so now that's traced. See if you can see that. There you go. Now I'm going to cut that out with my scissors. Again, kiddos are using child safety scissors. These are bigger scissors for adults. So always make sure anytime you're using scissors, you're doing that around moms and dads, and you're not just playing with scissors. Okay. And I'm just going to at that. Okay, so now I've got my wings all cut out. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paint those wings. I want to paint those wings now so they'll have time to dry, and we're going to go back to them so we can paint them with our designs. I'm going to use some red paint. Parents, you can put the red paint on the plate and then use a big brush, but I'm going to just kind of take a little bit of an easy way out right now, and I'm going to put just a little bit on my wings. Might be safer to put on your paper plate. Okay, wings. So now I'm just going to take the red paint and paint all, so see, I'm going to paint the whole thing, all of my wings, okay? Probably gave myself just a little too much paint on there, didn't I? It might be better if I just put it on my plate and dip my brush in it next time, but that's okay. Even I learn from my mistakes. It's all good. Okay, so I'm going to wash some of my paint off. I'll tell you why I'm doing that. And dry my paintbrush. I had too much paint on there, and I want to make sure I don't have too much because we want it to dry fairly quickly so we can add our decorations, because that is going to be the fun part of this particular project. Okay. Alright, so now my whole set of wings are all painted red. So I can just leave my brush in the water. I'm not going to use that big brush anymore. I'm going to turn to my little brush here in just a minute. So we're going to let this dry for just a minute, and let's think about doing something else while those are drying, okay? Let's think about our antenna. We're going to have some antenna on here, and what I mean by that is these two little guys right here. I did those in red. I think today I'm going to do some in black. So let me show you how to do that. Gotta get some of this paint off my hands. Okay, so I have a small piece of construction paper. I'm gonna take my construction paper and fold it in half. Why am I doing that? To make two antennae. Well, if you have a piece that's folded in half and you cut it at the same time, you will get two of the exact same shapes all at one time, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna just take my scissor and I'm gonna cut a straight line up, then go around in almost like a circle. So it's a little dot on the top, okay? Circle on the top. And go around and then straight down. Then if I open it, I've got two antennas exactly the same, okay? So I want to take those two antennae and I'm going to glue them on to the inside of my tube, okay? So how do I do that? Well, I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, okay, and put it right here on the inside of my tube. One, and next to it, two. So two areas of glue right there, and then I'm just going to press so the dot is out on the top. Let me show you. So the circle on top of my antenna that I made is on top. See that? Okay, now what does he need? You're right, he needs Google eyes. If you don't have Google eyes, which I do, then you can just paint eyes on with the acrylic paint that you have, okay? But in this case, I'm going to add some little googly eyes. If you don't have them, again, that's totally fine. You can just paint them on. Okay. I'm going to show you them, but I don't want to, they might slip a little bit. Just like that. Okay? So now I want to take a little bit of black so I can make a mouth on mine. So I'm going to add a little black to my plate, and I'll be using that black anyway to make some of the decorations on my plate as well. So I'm going to take my smallest brush, get some of that black, and I'm just going to draw my smiley face on my bug. Just like that. Okay? So it's a little half circle, whoop, and then a line, and then a line. Smiley face. Just like that. So that part of that bug, he's all done. So I'm going to set it aside. And then I'm going to wash my brush, and I'm going to dry that little brush and set it down, because I'm going to be using that again in just a minute. Okay? So while we were doing all of that fun stuff, now it's time to decorate our wings. So let me show you what I want you to do. I want you to figure out where your bug is going to sit. He's going to sit right in the middle, isn't he? Like that? So I know that I don't have to put any of the decorations right here or here or here. So only from here around this edge, and from here around that edge and around this edge. That's where we're going to put our decorations. Now this is when it's your time to get fun and creative. I'm going to show you how I did this one, but you can do your own decorations and make them special the way you want them. Maybe you want to put stars on yours. Maybe you want circles on yours. Maybe you want hearts like I'm doing. It's really up to you. This is the time when you get to shine and be creative your own self. So now what I'm going to do is take my small brush and I'm going to think about what designs and what colors I want on there. What do I want? Okay, so the first thing I think I want is I want some yellow, but the yellow is kind of see-through. So really when I use yellow on anything like this, I tend to put a little bit of white with it. So I'm going to put a little bit of yellow and some white on my paper plate. So if you're using yellows or greens or light purples that might be a little thin, you might want to just add some white acrylic paint to your color, okay? And that'll probably help it to show a little better. My white paint's running out, so I just had to open it a little more. Okay, so first thing I want to do is get my yellow dots. So really what I'm doing is I'm going to add a little bit of this white and yellow at the same time. So I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and mix it in just a corner of my white. I don't want to dirty up all of my white because there's going to be a time where I use straight only white on it. Okay, so I've got like that. Now I want to make those dots around. So let's see how I do that. I'm going to go. I don't want to show this paper plate. Whoop. You see that? Good. Okay, so I'm going to go dot and then dot. This is how I'm decorating my butterfly. How are you going to decorate your butterfly? Okay. So I'm going all the way. I'm going around my wings. So I've got that half. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other half of my wings. So I'm just going to keep going the same pattern all around. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got the yellow right there, like that. All right. Then I want to make a yellow heart over here. So I'm going to just make a small yellow heart right like that. And then another one over here. Okay. So I've got two hearts. Oh, this one's a lot smaller, isn't it? Let me see if I can fix that size a little bit. Okay. Now let's see. So I think I'm done with that color. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of that blue that I already had on my plate from when I did my blue too. Okay, so now I'm going to take some blue and I'm going to put it on the lower corners, kind of like these little ovals, one on each lower corner part of my wings. Okay. And then the other part of the blue, let's see. Well, we're going to do some more blue in a minute. Next step, I'm going to just wash that brush. And now I'm going to get some black. I'm going to get some black paint. Okay. So my black paint, I'm going to use around my heart. So I'm going to trace around my hearts with the black paint. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute if you can't see. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take that same color black and I'm going to go around my dots. So it's like this. Around my dots, around my dots. Okay? It might be a little difficult to see. Around, around. Just going around all my dots. Just like that. Okay? So I'm going to continue that, going around all of my dots for right now. And then we'll see what the next step is going to be. What do you think it's going to be? Try and do this a little bit quickly so you can get the idea what it's supposed to look like next. Almost there. Okay. So now I've gone all the way around my hearts and all the way around all my dots. Okay? So the next thing I want to do, I want to get a little bit more blue, because now I'm going to add blue around the black part of my hearts. Okay, so in other words, there's the hearts. I'm trying to get it closer without, see the hearts? Now I'm going to add some blue around the black, around both of my hearts. So I'm getting a little bit of my blue. And I'm going to just trace around the black part now. Okay. Okay, so next thing I want to do is wash and dry that brush, and I'm going to get white, and that'll be our last step of decorating the wings. So I'm going to get white, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, just like that. 1, 2, 3, and then over here the same. 1, 2, 3. Fill it in a little bit. Okay, and then there's some little dots around over here by my heart. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Okay, so I do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Okay. So last step I'm going to do is glue my tube to my butterfly wings right there. Okay, so I'm going to just add, you're going to be adding your glue right here. Now, parents, if you want it to stick a little sturdier, I actually glued it like I'm showing now, and then I put a couple staples in mine. You don't have to do that if you don't have a stapler, but it does help if you're wanting to get it to stick a little bit quicker. But I put the glue on basically, and then press my tube. So put the glue on the red part of my wings in the middle, and then press my tube on, and then there you have it. A cool toilet paper butterfly. And that's fun to make. You can make several of these, all with different colors and different patterns, and it's a lot of fun. So enjoy working with your kids on this one this week. See you next time.